Are you concerned at all about not feeling happy enough, feeling down, being in a dark place and not being able to find a way out? We've got ideas, solutions, and keys and clues to getting yourself out of dark places at any given moment. Join us after the break for Mindset Monday with Caroline Ainslie and the secrets to true happiness.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Welcome. I'm in a temporary studio today, so please forgive the weird eye things going on. I can't see if I don't have my glasses on, and you can see my lighting. I'll do my best to duck under it. Welcome to Mindset Monday with Caroline Ainslie on Relax Radio. And today we are looking into Mindset Monday. It's all about having a growth mindset, a positive mindset, about how in difficult times we can make the best of it. Some secrets, some keys to finding ways to be truly happy despite difficult circumstances. And well, I'm going to integrate some stories of my own with some inspirational TED Talks. I found some TED Talks. I found some YouTube. I think they're YouTubes. I don't know. One of the things I didn't actually manage to get a link into the description was a great talk by Denzel Washington, which is called Fail Fast. I think it's Fail Fast. I've forgotten now. But it's about basically failing forward. So whenever you fail, you're taking a step forward. Or even if you take steps backwards, the end result is you're making progress. And that's effectively the key to pretty much my life and the life of any person. That I'm not saying that I don't get despondent. Yes, I get despondent. I don't have challenges. Yes, I have challenges. But thank goodness I have challenges. Because if I didn't have challenges, I would get complacent. And complacency is the real enemy. Complacency is allowing yourself to feel despondent, wallow in it. And there are times when one wants to just wallow, but then one picks oneself up, dusts oneself off, and figures out what you've learned and keeps on keeping on. And we're going to start with Ken Robinson. Now, he's a hero of mine. My passion, my purpose for being here is I'm an educator. I am an electronic engineer by profession. Graduated in 1983. That was a couple of years ago. Oh, nearly, wait a minute, I've got to work it out. Nearly 40 years? Nearly 40 years ago. That's scary. That's truly scary. So it's nearly 40 years ago that I graduated. And I was an electronic engineer for a while, a good long while. And in 2004, I had an epiphany. I kept hearing reports about how children were hating maths in school and were failing maths in school, and how there were grown-ups out in the world that were frustrated because they couldn't do the jobs they wanted to do and getting underpaid because they didn't have math skills. They were innumerate. or simply had lacked confidence in maths. So I literally had an epiphany. I was given the mission really, to do something about it. Now, it's not an overnight thing. If one isn't trained as a maths educator or a maths facilitator, one can't just jump in. Some people do, and some people are amazing at it. And I've always had a teachery elbow. I call it a teachery elbow. I've never been inclined to answer questions. I've always been inclined to get learners that ask me I've asked them questions back. That's always been my inclination, my instinct. And the same goes for anything else in life, especially the ones that were asking me are the ones that had challenges. That's what today is all about, challenges. My speciality, let's say, is maths, but it's also mindset. I am so grateful that I have actually reached a place where I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to give you a spoiler. I'm going to take you on a journey. So the journey, I suppose for me, the journey started as a child. I'll integrate other people's journeys along with mine. My journey started as a child in school, and I was really fortunate. I went to a fantastic school. A school where my fellow students that were most valued, the students that were most valued, were the ones that were most intelligent and got the best marks. And I don't mean valued by the teachers, because of course teachers like their students to get the best marks. I'm talking about valued by each other. The ones that were not necessarily the most popular, but the ones that were most respected were those that got the best marks. And there was none of this, oh, well, you get good marks, therefore you're anything. It was a good thing to get good marks. So I was lucky in that. Now, I love my school. And to this day, I love it. And most people that I've ever met have said those were the best school years of my life, the years they went to my school. But the method by which I was taught maths was very much this is just in particular, this is, I suppose, education in general really, was here's your information, write it down, memorize it, repeat it. And if you can do that, you'll get good marks in your exams. I know they've moved along from that. I know they have because I've been back to my school. But creativity was only something we did, not even in music class did we have creativity. The only place we really had creativity was in art. I don't remember any other area where we experienced creativity. And when I first heard one of my many heroes, Ken Robinson, he talked about, well, his talks is, and there's links in the description for all of these people I'm mentioning now. His original talk that I saw, and there are lots of talks, and you can literally bury yourself in TED Talks. If you're feeling despondent, you want to get out of it, bury yourself in TED Talks. You can find a bit of both on YouTube, but in TED Talks, they're all uplifting. Ken talked about an educational system. His first talk was, is education killing creativity? And he believes very strongly that creativity is absolutely essential in education, to have a successful education. And even if you think about it, the students that are most successful in school are the ones who are the independent learners, the ones who don't need the teachers to explain everything to them. Now, why is that? Are they the most intelligent learners? Well, research says no. Research actually says that why are we talking about education, by the way? We're talking about education because education is key in in becoming a person who independently, without the need for anybody else, can actually uplift themselves. You can learn independently. You've got emotional intelligence. If you've got emotional intelligence, then you can be successful in lifting yourself out of a dark spot. So we're talking here about, I'm very aware that there are people, especially at the moment, if you're watching this in years to come, these are COVID times. We're in the middle of COVID times. And in some countries, there has just been some Christian countries, let's say, some basically countries that celebrate Christmas. Christmas has been kind of cancelled because of COVID movement restrictions, which was what inspired me to actually look at the show today, where we're just going to look at how to dig yourself out of a black hole. Now, I'm using education as an example right here, because creativity is a way to dig yourself out of an educational black hole. And I'm starting with Ken Robinson because I find his talk so full of metaphors. You can use everything he says outside of school. It doesn't have to be anything to do with school at all. It's purely be creative, live a creative life. And creativity, the beautiful thing about creativity is we each have our own way of being creative. There is no one way. It's like you're right and I'm wrong. No, it's great because each one of us can be creative in our own individual way. And that means that we can each dig ourselves out by feeding our soul, by feeding what inspires us, and that we can dig ourselves out of a dark place. Now, please comment, please, anywhere you are. If you're on Facebook, I believe you have to allow StreamYard to make comments, because we're streaming through StreamYard. Please do make comments, and I can see your comments on here. So please share with our viewers and our listeners how you dig yourself out of a big hole. What feeds your soul? How do you get yourself from a place of darkness to a place of light? Now, after the break, oh, there it is. After the break, we're going to find out about a gentleman. I've been doing a little bit of research. I've been just not research so much, it's just discovery. I call it discovery rather than research. I suppose you call it research. I call it discovery. And because I've been looking for things I can recommend to you, things that can, if you watch them and listen to them, then it might not be you, it might be somebody that you know, that you can recommend them, you can post them, and there's links to one talk of each of these individuals in the description. So after the break, we're going to be talking about Matt Goldman. Now, this gentleman is one of the founders of the Blue Man Group. If you've never had the pleasure of going to see the Blue Man Group, you need to do it. Well, the last time I was in Vegas, they were there, certainly, and it's absolutely just mind-boggling, really. And so I'm going to be sharing some of his ideas after the break, and a couple more stories from my background, purely because that's what I'm most experienced in, and I hope that the ideas that Matt Goldman shares and the ideas that I've got will help you through any dark times, or help people you know through dark times. Now, at the end of the show, we're going to share one thing. How many things? One thing that can make all the difference to anybody who's in a dark spot or wants to help cheer somebody else up. We'll see you after the break with Matt Goldman, co-founder, I believe, of the Blue Man Group.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to the Mindset Monday with Caroline Ainslie, myself. And I just realized before the break, I said we will be with Matt Goldman after the break. Well, not quite. We will be with one of his talks, an online talk. And it's on the TED. It's on a TED Talks. If you don't watch TED Talks, TED.com, TED.com, go there. If you're going to binge watch TED Talks. And that's edifying and uplifting and a great way to spend. If you're going to binge watch and duvet dive, do it with TED Talks. And that's one way of boosting yourself. And what we're talking about today is helping those who might be feeling despondent, who might be in a sticky situation where they're alone or don't feel there's much to look forward to. And I'm looking to help with ideas. If you can't do anything about the situation, what you can do something about is what's going on in your head. And that's what I'm working on. So Matt Goldman, the talk that I'm recommending is called The Search for Aha Moments. Now, the search for aha moments he talks about education. He talks about his own education, and it's a wonderful story, among other things. He talks about his journey in school, which wasn't very successful. And he talks about he went to not a music class exactly, it was more like a music audition in elementary school, in primary school, when he was under the age of 11. And they got every child in this class to just sing a note, ah, or something like that. Just, I don't know if it was more than once, but apparently it was one note, it might have been repeated. And then they split them up into two groups. Over there, you go over there, you go over there, and everyone was split up into two groups according to how they sang this one note. Well, he was in the fail group, and his group had to go back to class and didn't get any more music lessons during elementary school until they'd moved on to the next school. And so that was a bit of a negative experience. I was going to use another word, but maybe I thought better of it. And then he got a mark in English a few years later, and he got a C plus apparently, which he wasn't displeased about. But what really hit him home was that it came with a comment: "It's as good as can be expected." So he felt he was given a ceiling by his teachers, and apparently it wasn't a good experience for him in school. It wasn't a successful experience for him in school. But here's the real, the rest of the story. After having left school and doing other different things, he was co-founder of the Blue Man Group, and he not only composes for them, he also writes for them. So it just goes to show what teachers, it's not what they know. And there are so many absolutely amazing teachers, and his own teachers, I know, were doing the best that they knew. But our educational system, the way our teachers are trained, that could be changed. That's not what this program's about. But that's kind of I'm not anti-school, I'm not anti-teachers, just want to make this absolutely clear. A lot of us have some negative experiences in school, and what I am is pro making education the best it can be. Why? So that we become emotionally mature, so that we become independent thinkers and independent learners. An independent learner isn't just limited to academia. Independent learner wants to learn about how YouTube works, how Facebook works, how to sew, how their body works, how best to eat, how best to do exercise. So it's a life skill being an independent learner. And independent learning is one of the secrets. In fact, let me write that down because I hadn't actually thought about that. Secret one, being an independent learner, I'm writing it down. Independent learner, independent learning is key to a happy life. Because that means that you want to learn about anything, and that could be about your mental health. It could be about learning about how to be happy, how to pull yourself out of a rut, all of that. The curiosity, I'm going to actually put that, I'm going to add curiosity in a second one as a number 2. I'm going to do a conclusion afterwards because that hadn't occurred to me when I was preparing. So I'm going to do that. Now, my story on that is I have a kind of parallel story to, which is why it really hit for me. I don't know if you have had anything similar happen to you. Please let me know. Oh, hello, Ator. I'm assuming that's Bengali, and I'm hoping that somebody on the team would be able to respond to you. Because I don't speak Bengali, but thank you for your comment. So the things that happened to me along a similar line was in primary school. What we did was singing. It wasn't so much music as singing. We had times when we played instruments, but this class was singing class. And we were singing a song, preparing, I don't know if we were actually preparing for a performance, but whatever it was, we were in rows. And one of us was out of tune. So the singing teacher went back and forth and back and forth along the lines, listening to each of us to see who was out of tune. And so she was going back and forth, and she got to me and she stopped. And she's like, "You are out of tune." I'm like, "Oh," and you know what? Ever since then, I have believed that I can't sing in tune. I actually have had singers, proper professional singers, tell me that I'm actually got a very good ear and that I do sing in tune. It's hard to believe, only because one person, one teacher in authority told me once that I couldn't sing in tune. I wasn't singing in tune in that moment, and that then meant to me that I can't sing in tune. So, and the other thing, as a child, I was always putting myself up for performance. So I was singing, and I was always putting myself up to be in the school plays, and I was never given a real part because I was very much a klutz. I can be hard to work with. I'm learning. I'm now 58 years old. I'm learning to zip it and not to be over enthusiastic, because I find that as my ebullience, my bubbliness can actually get in the way and annoy directors and things like that. So I've actually learned to curtail my enthusiasm. It's still there, but I choose my moments. Took me many years to work that out. And so I was frustrated with that and thought, well, I'm not a very good performer. And then the third thing, that was 2. There was one was the singing, one was the performing, and the other was art. I don't know about in your country, but in my country, at the time that I took my exams, which the exams that we take at age 16, so official full school leaving and everything you do after that is bonus. Official school leaving, I did art as one of my subjects, and I didn't get an A, I didn't get a B, I didn't get a C, I didn't get a D, I didn't get an E, or even an F. Both E and F are both fails. I got a U. Unclassified, which means it's not even on my certificate. I didn't even have a fail mark on my certificate. I was unclassified. Absolute rubbish. You're not an artist, so I'm not a performer. I'm not a singer. I'm not an artist. Now I am an award-winning balloon artist. I found my medium. I'm a performer, and during the performances I do sing, admittedly not I'm not like an opera singer or anything, but I sing as part of my performances, and the audience seems to enjoy it. And so that's the point being that if somebody tells you something that you're enthusiastic about and it's not what you want to hear, don't give up. Keep going. Do what you love. And that's how to get yourself out of a hole. So do what you love. That's number 3. Because I've got here independent thinking. I've got curiosity. I've got, creativity, and do what you love. And do what you love. I'm just making notes here. I'm going to review them at the end. All right. So now the links to Ken Robinson and Matt Goldman are in the description. And after the break, we're going to talk about, not with, get it right, not with, but, oh wait, no, we're going to go, no wait, we're going to leave her to a little bit later. We're going to have Angela Lee Duckworth to lead us into another of my great heroes. Now, I've just discovered Angela Lee Duckworth when I was preparing for this radio show. Now, if you just joined us, what this radio show is about is Mindset Monday. And I'm doing my best to I'm doing my best to give you ideas for those of you that might be feeling a bit despondent. I know some people have times of year when they're particularly despondent, and this has been recorded during times of COVID, and there have been some lockdowns and times where people are feeling quite without hope in a situation where they just don't see the silver lining or the light at the end of the tunnel. So these are ideas that I'm working with you, and I do have one goal. My last person that I'm going to talk to you about is particularly talks about this, and there is a gold nugget. I don't know what number it's going to get you to because I'm writing down this list, but there is a gold nugget at the end of it. It's something that I practice, and it is so powerful. If you can just get your head around it and find a way of doing it, it will dig you out of an unhappy hole at any time. So we'll get to that at the end. So stay tuned till the end of the program, and please do put in the comments your ideas. If you can put them in English, that would be really beneficial. Or get a translate to put them in English. And if you've got ideas how you help people or how you yourself pull yourself out of a despondent moment, then please do write them in the comments wherever you are. And after the break, we're going to come back with Angela Lee Duckworth and her ideas on, well, there's a nice word that she uses in terms of digging yourself out of a hole, digging yourself into a good place, having success. And that word is grit. So after the break, Angela Lee Duckworth and grit. And I should have had the, oh, there, it's ready. See you after the break.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to Mindset Monday on Relax Radio with myself, Caroline Ainslie. And today it's mindset. It's all about mindset. Today we're specifically focusing on or aiming at those people that are feeling despondent, feeling that they can't find a way to to cheer themselves up. They might be in a dark hole, a dark place, can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, don't know how to find the light at the end of the tunnel. So we're looking for ways. So far, a few nuggets. Now, my speciality is education. I'm not a teacher specifically, I'm just a trained teacher. I'm someone who facilitates learning, specifically the learning of mathematics. During my travels, my journey to get to where I am, I have learned how to have a growth mindset. Now you can have a growth mindset in some areas and not in others. And this is the hope that we all have. You can grow a growth mindset. You can learn to have a growth mindset. So I've got a growth mindset in many areas, and there are some still where I go, I don't know how to do that. Ooh, okay, now wait. So let me rephrase that. The point being that these points that I'm making, the points that I have observed rather, are points that help you in your growth mindset. Now, your growth mindset is key to pulling yourself out of a hole of despair, of not having any hope. Because if you know you can grow, then you know you have hope. It's really quite simple. That doesn't mean to say it's easy to do, but you know what? Despite having a growth mindset, even if you have a growth mindset, it doesn't mean that your tasks are easy to do. It's just that you know that if you persevere, I call it perseverance and determination, if you persevere, then you can succeed. So the secret so far, we've got independent learning. That means effectively you're an independent learner, you have a growth mindset, you know you can learn and you find a way. Curiosity. Keep that curiosity going, even if you're duvet diving. You might take your phone with you under the duvet and get curious with TED Talks, find all positive things where you're learning from, and you will pull out of it. Creativity. And then the next 3 and 4, creativity and do what you love. So be creative, doing something you love. And that again can pull you out. So those I've got so far. I suppose I've put growth mindset on here, actually, so I'm creating a list as we go. If you have any ideas yourselves, please do comment. Please put comments in the comments in English, please, if possible, because I don't only speak English. I speak Spanish and French and Danish. That's about it, reasonably. Growth mindset. Right, I've written on my list growth mindset. Now, the next person, we're talking about the next TED Talk, and the links are in the description, is Angela Lee. What is it with Angela D. Duckworth? Angela Lee Duckworth. And her talk is The Power of Passion and Perseverance. Now, I call it, talk about perseverance and determination. But so she's including the passion, the do what you love with the creativity. So we've got don't give up. So you've got the perseverance and you've got the passion, do the things you love. And it's grit. She refers to it as grit. And now, during the talk, she makes a statement. She says, people ask me, parents come up and say, how do I teach my child to have grit? And you know what her answer is? I don't know. Oh dear, I don't know. And but the study that she's done is looking at who is successful and why. And what she noticed, she kind of does know. I guess you don't have, there isn't a one-line answer. And this whole talk, helping people come out of dark places, for everything I'm talking about in this whole hour, is how to get yourself out of a dark place. And if you have a child in school, or if you yourself are in a place where you're either not learning, you've given up, you're despondent, you don't feel you can succeed, it's all this much of a muchness, then she talks about the secret is follow through. You have to be able to follow through. I like that. I'm looking at what can I learn from it and follow through. So it's not just enough to think, well, oh yes, I've learned this. You've then got to do something about it. You've got to take action. And you've got to take action even if you don't want to. So that's really where the grit comes in. And one of the things that Angela says is a person with grit is willing to fail and start over. So that willingness to fail. So if you're feeling in a dark place, now you can blame it on others. And yes, you can blame it on the government. You can blame it on circumstances. You can blame it on lots of different things. But why do some people remain upbeat? Or why are some people able to recover from difficult situations and others just go into a dark pit and stay there? You might have there's a wonderful story. There's two brothers and one wrote a book, and both brothers were raised in a really hard neighborhood. One of them ended up in jail as a hardened criminal, and the other went to university, got himself out of that situation. And so the one in jail says, this is how I was brought up. This is the environment I lived in. How could I not end up in jail? And the other brother says, I was raised in this environment. This is where I was brought up. How could I not succeed? So one allowed the environment to bring him down, and the other allowed the environment to help himself up and out of it. It gave him impetus, it gave him oomph, it gave him a rocket in his backside to actually get himself out of that situation. And that, again, that's another, it's essentially, I want to say take responsibility. People bandy that around a lot. Take responsibility for your own actions. They bandy it around, and once you get to a point where, yes, you can think that way, yes, it's helpful. But I haven't found it that helpful when I was in a dark place, because I haven't always been, in a great place. And what I have, a way to look at it rather than take responsibility, is that you can cheer yourself up, but you do have to do something. You have to take action, and that's the key. You have to actually do something positive. Instead of saying take responsibility, I'm going to say you have to literally stand up, dust yourself off, and just keep going. And that is key. And the point being that the only one that can do that is you. Now, you may need someone to help you with that, and that again is your responsibility, because if somebody comes to help you and you don't want it, you'll just reject them. So it is your responsibility to A, ask for help if you need it, and B, accept the help that is offered to you. So that's that nugget. Not quite sure what that is. I'm going to say responsibility, but I'm going to say ask for help if you need it. Ask for help and do it. Obviously, some advice you're going to go, no, that does not work for me. And in which case you don't stop, you keep going. And keep going until you find something that does work for you, which again brings it back to you. It's what goes on in your head, it's what you're happy with. So ask for help and follow and do it. And carry it out. Carry the whatever the help is. Follow it. I'm going to say follow it through. Follow it through. Now, one thing that Angela Lee Duckworth says is that she doesn't know the answer to how do I teach my child to have grit. But what she does say is there's an amazing woman called Carol Dweck who has been researching for years, decades, and what she talks about is growth mindsets and Mindset Monday. She is the inspiration for the show. The reason why it's called Mindset Monday, before I'd heard of Carol Dweck, I knew that mindset was key to learning. I knew that. But then I read Growth Mindset. But Mindset, the book is called Mindset. And Carol talks about growth mindset. You can have a fixed mindset, the way she puts it. You can have a growth mindset. The person with the fixed mindset is going to duvet dive and stay there. The person with the fixed mindset, even if they feel like duvet diving, they might even do that, but they will go, you know what? I'm just going to get on with it. I may not want to, I may not feel like it, but I'm going to learn and grow out of this. And therefore, the one with the growth mindset is the one that's going to succeed, even if they're not the most capable one, even if they're not the most creative one, even if they're not the most intelligent one. You can grow your intelligence by perseverance, determination, just doing things and growing and learning and grow and learn and grow and learn and develop and grow your emotional intelligence. And Carol Dweck, and one of her most beautiful things I've ever heard her talk about. Again, I haven't put a link to her book, which is called Mindset, but I have put a link to her TED Talk, her favorite TED Talk of mine. But there are quite a few good ones. This is my favorite one. It's the power of yet. So you're talking to a child, so that's what I do in my profession. I talk to children a lot. I talk to parents. I talk to teachers. And I still have to catch myself when I do it. But it's like, instead of saying no, you say not yet. Instead of saying I can't, say I can't yet. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it yet. So it isn't a destination, not a destination. It isn't the end of the road, not knowing how to do it. It isn't the end of the road if you fail. It isn't the end of the road if you are fearful of it, which is purely a stepping stone because you haven't done it yet. And I use this with my nieces and nephews. Constantly, and my grandson, I use it with people that I associate with, and of course in my work. And you add yet or not yet to the end of anything. Now, do it with yourself. I have been known to duvet dive. I confess, I have been known to duvet dive, and I might put my duvet over my head and go, I can't do it. And then I think to myself, I've got to the point now, because I'm growing. I've got to the point now where I think I can't do it yet. I can't face it yet. And then by saying yet, that opens the door, opens the possibilities to, okay, well, all right, so I can't do it yet, but it gives you forward motion, forward momentum. It's like, I can't do it yet, but when can I do it? Rather than I can't do it yet. That's it. I'm done. I'm out of it. I'm no more. I'm not going to do any more. If you use that term, use it with yourself, use it with others, and that takes away that really, one thing I'm in the process of training myself out of, and that is, in say my profession, if a child gives an answer and the answer is no, I mean, as in it's wrong, and you say no, that's not the answer I'm looking for, I'll look for the mouse. It'll be maybe not yet, or keep thinking, or you haven't got the answer yet, or your answer is close, not quite yet. It's that power of yet and not yet. Is just use it. Just use it. That's my point. That's where I'm going with this. So that's Carol Dweck. The link is in the description. And after the break, we won't have in the studio, but I'm going to reveal the final secret. The final secret, the one that I have, thankfully, I'm so grateful that I have learnt this, and I do practice this. This isn't something that I do use and practice. And that will be after the break. And the person that we'll be talking about, not to, is Matt Goldman. Now, hopefully, in future years, we'll actually have all of these people, not Ken Robinson, rest in peace. He's he passed on this year, but all the others would be wonderful to have on the show. So see you after the break with revealing the final secret, the one thing that if you do that, you can beat despondency, even if you've got a really, really, really good reason for being despondent. See you after the break with Matt Goldman, talking about Matt Goldman and his ideas and the secret that I use and I practice to beat despondency and achieve success in life.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us here 24 hours and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio. Relax Radio.
Hello, welcome back to Mindset Monday. I am literally in the process of plugging my light in, which has decided that it's a bit dark. Is that better? Still looks a bit dark, but it's brighter than it was. So I've got my light plugged in now, so I'm hoping I've got enough light. Maybe is that going to be any better? I'm just working on my lights. Always improving, always be improving. Always be ABI, always be improving. Right, so welcome back. And solving the technical difficulties. I'm on StreamYard here in COVID times. I'm not in the studio. And we're talking today, it's Mindset Monday, and we're talking about mindset, how to have a positive mindset, a growth mindset. I've been creating a list here. It occurred to me to do during the show, so I've been kind of creating it on the way. So secrets independent learning. So why is that important for a positive mindset? Because it is actually key to be happy. If you are an independent learner, your automatic instinct is to learn out of every situation, then that will help you pull yourself out of a sticky wicket, a situation where you're unhappy. Curiosity, if you're curious, again, you'll think, okay, well, what can I learn from this? Or just be stimulated by a situation, even if you are feeling down in the dumps. If you're curious about how you can get yourself out of it, or just remain curious and decide, okay, I'm going to be curious. I'm going to go and watch TED Talks and be curious about all the different ideas that other people have. That will pull yourself out of it. Creativity, do things that you love and have a growth mindset. We spoke about that, and that's all about effectively being curious. Effectively, if things don't work or you don't know how to do something, well, I don't know how to do it yet. And the next question is, how can I do it? Rather than, I don't know how to do it, I'm going to go and sit and watch telly and do nothing. Or do they dive, just climb into bed and do nothing as well. And then also another one was ask for help and follow it through. Ask for help, find what works for you and follow through with that. Those are the 6 points we've got so far, and now we've got going to be the 7 keys to happiness. 7 of the keys to happiness, but the number one key, I suppose we should go on 7, 5. I don't know which order they come in. I've just written them down as they came out. But I do know that the number one, for me, and I believe this to be true, the number one key to happiness, the number one key to pulling yourself out, and there can be some absolutely horrendous situations in life. Some people have had terrible experiences in their lives, and some people have allowed that the result of it, let's say, the result of it for some people is that their life is just ruined forever, and others have actually, in some way, somehow been stimulated by it, and they have gone on to help others. There's very common things when something really bad happens to somebody, that they or their family turn around and help others, therefore in improving their own lives in the process. But the key to this, and I've heard it from many, actually the first person I remember hearing it from is a friend. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to research it while I'm talking now, because his name is just not coming to me, and that's just not right. I just realized that I just had that thought. It's not in my notes, and I just wanted to tell you and give credit to the first person that I have heard it from. Well, I tell you what, actually before him, actually I might have heard it from Claire Boyles, and she talks about, she's got a gratitude Monday. Did I say the word? Claire Boyles might have actually been before. Amandeep Thind, that's it. Amandeep Thind is the person who is the other one who talks about the attitude of gratitude. I've let the cat out of the bag. It's all about gratitude. Now, the person who, the talk that I found, and you've got the link in the description. The person is David Steindl-Rast. Now, he seems to be a pretty wise man, and he talks about something I suppose I had thought about it, but I hadn't gelled it, I hadn't put it in those words. The comment he makes is, when you are happy, you are grateful. That's a statement that he makes. Now, is that true? Are you grateful when you are happy? Is everybody grateful when they're happy? And that was quite a significant question. I found that to be quite a significant question. Are you grateful when you are happy? Or are you thinking about the next thing? Or are you thinking about, oh, I've got this, I'm happy, but I want this other thing? Are you thinking about something else rather than being in the moment, being grateful for that happiness that you have in that moment? Or do you have a happy moment which then is followed by a very unhappy time? Some people do that. They have highs and lows. We all have some highs and lows, but some people go pretty high up and then go super low down because, for whatever reason, they're searching for something that they never achieve, perhaps. Now, the question then is, when you are happy, are you grateful? Or does happiness, or so in other words, does happiness make you grateful? Or does gratefulness make you happy? That's the key. Does gratefulness make you happy? Think about that. Really, really think about that. Does gratefulness make you happy, or does happiness make you grateful? And my friend Amandeep Thind said he talks about the attitude of gratitude. I know he's a follower of Tony Robbins, and I've now heard that from Tony Robbins, but the first person I heard it from, and he is really powerful with it, is Amandeep Thind. And then I know Claire Boyles talks about Gratitude Monday, and she's always asking you what you're grateful for. And I think it was a combination of those two people, Claire Boyles and Amandeep Thind, that made me start thinking about what I'm grateful for. And I've then done other activities where there's like you write a list of what you're grateful for. And some people, you might do a 30-day challenge or a 5-day challenge or a 7-day challenge. Every day you've got to post on Facebook or write a list in the morning or the evening or before you go to bed and review your list and add to it. And over the years, as a result of, and I can look at things I'm grateful for way back, going back to my childhood, even negative events that I discovered I've learned from. And I have found that having the attitude of gratitude, in other words, I call it practicing gratitude. I believe in God, so I'm actually, I personally, that's my beliefs. So when I say practice, I don't mean practice like a religion. I mean I practice it as in every moment. Well, maybe not every moment, but whenever I'm aware of it, and I'm often not aware of it, I just do it. I'm like, oh wow, oh, I've got a warm bed, or I've got this amazing friend, or just even if I'm sitting alone, I'm like, oh wow, I've got such blessings in my life, and I count my blessings rather than count the problems I've got. I count my blessings, and that is so powerful. Consciously counting your blessings, consciously being grateful for what you have. Focus on what you have rather than what you don't have. You do that, that makes such a difference. And that's the key. That is the secret to me. The number one secret to happiness, the number one key to, if I do find myself in a moment of duvet diving, hold on, where's my thing? I've got to pull this up and over. I'm off duvet diving. Ah, oh no, life is dark. Life is, oh no. And then I start counting my blessings. I start thinking, okay, what have I got? What have I got? And it really does pull me out. And that is my gift to you. And I hope it's of benefit to you to if you're experiencing dark times or know somebody that is, talk to them and get them to tell you about. Focus on your blessings rather than your problems. It's so powerful, and that's my gift to you. So we're going to go, I don't know what order the others are in. I know what's number one. So we're going to go with number 7. Independent learning. Be an independent learner. It doesn't matter what you're learning. Being an independent learner means that you yourself want to learn and you don't need somebody else to prompt you. Curiosity. Stay curious. If you stay curious, you stay alive. You stay alive, you can count your blessings. Creativity. Do the things you love. I think that's really one and the same. Do what you love. Be creative and do what you love. Have a growth mindset. It's never. Oh, I'm using a categorical word. It's never I can't. It's never I won't. It's never, well, unless you shouldn't. It's never I won't do that because I don't want to. Because I'll just say I can't. I'll stick to I can't. It's never I don't know how. It's I can't yet. I don't know how yet. I'm stuck in a negative place and I don't know how to get out yet. Opens the doors. And ask for help, follow it through, choose the help that works for you, and so be conscious and independent in that thought as well. And finally, practice gratitude. Think about what you have rather than what you don't have. Make a list as long as you can possibly make it. Write it down, review it constantly. That is a beautiful way to experience going from a dark place to finding the light at the end of the tunnel so that you can see your way out of a dark place. Mindset Monday, thank you for joining us. After the break, we will have, well, not the break, I'm going to end this, and please stay tuned to Relax Radio on Facebook, on YouTube, and we will have Happy Maths Hour after the break. Thank you.